Alright guys, so in the last video I made about the Rimac, remember we talked about how these EV companies could come out, like companies like Xiaomi, Rimac, Tesla, and they can make these amazingly fast cars. No, not around the track, but they perform very good. And if you look in comparison, you'll see that ICE cars or internal combustion engine cars, they have a harder time coming out and really establishing themselves. I'm not saying that any ICE cars never come out, but I'm in my 30s. Not gonna disclose my full age, but I'm one of my 30s, and in my life, I don't remember a company really coming out and establishing itself in my life. Whereas over the past 12 years or so, you have companies Tesla, Rimac, Xiaomi, hell, Sony took a crack at it. And all these other companies that are already established could also make EV cars seem relatively easy in comparison. So in this video, I'd like to go ahead and take a minute to go ahead and look into why this is. Why is ICE cars so much harder to make than EV cars? Is it a complexity thing? Is it just a coolness thing? Is it what customers want? What we don't want? We'll go ahead and discuss that in this video here today, guys. Leave a like and subscribe for videos like this, and thank you. Alright guys, so the main thing I like to start with ICE cars because, well, ICE cars is older, they've been around longer. Let's start with them because we have more information on them and we can kind of get a grasp of what it takes to make an ICE company. Now I'm not going to go into full details on how much it costs and things like that. That probably be a video for another time. But one of the reasons I think ICE cars is hard to make is, I mean, they're very complex. Not just the engine, but the engine, and then you marry it up to the transmission. All that it's a little bit complex. Now, for us customers, doesn't seem too complex because we get in there, we turn the keys, the car goes. Might have to check the oil, change some fluids here and there, but if you maintain the cars properly, they seem to just go, and they can be extremely reliable. However, I mean, if you think about what's in the ICE cars, you got like valve systems, exhaust systems, cooling systems. Not saying, well, valve systems not in a EV, but and definitely not exhaust, but cooling systems in EVs also. But in the case of ICE cars, you're dealing with full combustion. And so there's a lot of precision. And so what that creates is a barrier of entry for new car manufacturers because they have to master the art of balancing everything out and mass producing it. And so, I mean, you think these new companies are coming up against patents from these major companies like Toyota and Ford that have these patents on some of the technology that don't allow a new car manufacturer to really use. And also, you have the relationships with distributors, where maybe you need a part or just a way to ship your stuff and get materials, but those materials are already booked up for months or years because they have to supply these bigger clients of theirs like Toyota, Ford. So like alloys and things like that might be hard to come by for these companies. So you have the logistics is also an issue. And if all of that isn't hard enough, guys, one more thing they have to deal with if they find a way to put everything together is passing EPA Tier 3 and the Euro 6 standards. I mean, those those things are extremely nice on even the bigger manufacturers. You hear the bigger manufacturers say, "Oh, we had to make some of the decisions we made. Our car sounds certain way because we had to meet certain regulations." Guys, these things make making vehicles extremely complex these days to pass these regulations that's out these days. And I mean, it doesn't make for an easy time for anybody, but it's extremely hard on a new company. So now, if you look at an EV, they're pretty modular in comparison. An EV in comparison to ICE. I'm not saying an EV, I can't get in there and just build an EV, but when you think about it, it's a battery with an electric motor that pulls energy from the battery, and it usually could omit a transmission. Even I know some of them could have transmissions, but like it's just a lot more modular, a lot easy to make an EV car, and then the relationships between manufacturers of EV companies is relatively new. So the places they go to get the parts and the tooling and stuff they need for EV car, it's relatively new. Tesla's first car came out in 2010, if I'm not mistaken. Um, so if you look at the success of new car companies, most of them is gonna be from an EV company, Tesla, Rimac. I'm not calling them the most successful, but we know these companies' names because you're gonna see their cars on the roads. They are establishing themselves, and companies like Rimac are making some of the fastest cars. Um, I think the only EV car company I could think of, we just spoke about them in one of our videos that we just made previously. Zinger have the 3D printed car called the C21. I mean, and it's fully 3D printed. It's complex, but it's easy for them to make with 3D printing. The smart thing they did, however, is they went after a super niche market where they don't have to make 12 million cars. They're not trying to compete with Toyota. They're trying to compete with companies like Koenigsegg and Rimac, where they make like 30 cars, 100 cars here and there. So essentially, they could put the focus more on quality of the product and not have to worry about finding a way to mass produce it in a way that, say, a company trying to make cars for you and regular people that could just afford your daily cars. Yeah, those companies are gonna struggle. Like the way Tesla is able to come out and make one of the best selling cars in the Model Y and the Model 3, being in the top 10 of all sales. Guys, I don't think you're gonna see that as easily with a gas or ICE car. I think if you look into it, the Koenigsegg took 30 years, guys. They've been out for 30 years to make 1,000 cars, and that works for them. They make money. I mean, their car sells for well over 1 million. But I like that's what we're looking at, guys. These newer car companies, Pagani, Koenigsegg, they're not new as in like recent, but they're like 30 years. It takes them like 30 years to make about 1,000 cars. It's not like what Tesla was able to do, or Rivian is going to be able to do, or Lucid. I think Lucid's going to sell a good amount of vehicles. No, I'm not saying cars can't fail coming out as EV. I think Fisker is a company that attempted to make EVs and essentially failed. Um, you can have failure in every business, guys, but for the most part, EVs seem to offer the complexity or the simplicity that a company needs to make a good car and give you the performance, especially when it comes to a straight line, that is unmatched by ICE cars. And so that's the main advantage I see. Now, should people buy ICE cars over EVs or EVs over ICE cars? Guys, it's a personal preference. I think right now I do see EV it hit a peak in the early 2000s, 2020s, but it seems to be tapering off a little bit. I mean, you see Teslas having issues selling like what they used to. Now, I don't know if that's a politics thing or there's some stuff going on with Elon Musk. But I mean, you see, one of the main thing I would say you should buy EV for is incentives. There's incentives on both sides for car manufacturers to make the EV and for you to buy it. Some of those incentives are supposedly going away, but I do believe there'll be more incentives. Uh, Fingers crossed on that. But essentially, guys, I think the way it's looking is the way China. You see what the Chinese government helping out the EV companies is doing for those EV companies. BYD is showing that if you could take advantage of government aid, I don't know how to say the other one, Xpeng, something like that, and Neo, those companies are able to succeed because they have help from the government. Because the government see it as a help to the environment. I might disagree with it, but they see that it's helping the environment to make or produce EVs. So they're gonna help out these companies get started, give them tons of money. I'm talking billions of dollars in funding just for making EVs. So I think it would be worth buying an EV if you want to, take advantage of some credit, have a high tech car that's relatively low cost to keep. As far as reliability goes, I know they have some EVs have quality issues on the front end and on the back end. I think you'll benefit from having an EV. But essentially, guys, I think EVs have a place. I would say it's more for like, uh, um, I'd say it's more for luxury cars, a nice car, high tech car. But I think ICE cars still have a place when it comes to a smooth or sporty setup. If you want a lightweight setup, you don't often find lightweight EVs. And I think there's a balance where both of them could exist at the same time. But as far as making these I think ICE cars for a long time going forward will just remain true to only traditional manufacturers, your Toyotas, BMW, Ford. And I think EVs will continue to usher in new manufacturers that's able to compete. If you want to support your new companies, you're probably gonna be doing so through ICE cars. It's just the nature of it, guys. There's nothing you can do about it. But let me know what you think in the comment section below.